Oh boy.
Hello.
Hello?
Cool.
What?
Nothing. Just kind of here.
What?
Just kind of here.
So fucking confused already. I'm gonna come join y'all's team.
Let's have a good game.
Am I all good to start?
I
We
believe
got
so.
an outside. I don't know about theirs.
We chillin', bro. We good.
Okay, I'm starting it.
How's it
Okay,
going?
good. Good luck, guys. Have fun.
Good luck.
Good luck.
For a second, I thought I wasn't live. Third game of the night, guys. Hi. Hi to Vital and Addict's son, Rxa. But anyways, final match of the night here, at least for me. Insanity! Blood Wolves Paradox, actually. A different team from the Blood Wolves branch, which I have not seen before, actually. Gonna face off here in Division 2 Midnight Action. So, we'll have to see how they do, actually. Anyways, now to provide some context on these two teams, I mean, Insanity, fairly well known, I think Division 3 champions last season, now in Division 2, and not on a very good run currently. I mean, last time I saw them was last week when the now Division 1 Calvert Legacy just absolutely stomped a mud hole in them, beat them 7-0. And the Tom Fragger of Legacy, who is now, I think, on a different team. I don't remember which team he's on, but he went 15-2, 7.5 KD against Insanity. But it was not good for them. And I have not seen Blood Wolves Paradox play before, so if I had to place my bets on either team, really, simply because I haven't seen Blood Wolves Paradox, I would go with Insanity. But if I had seen Blood Wolves Paradox, I would likely have a bit more of an even say, I'd say, in this. Saw the last game, dang, in High Shadows. But yeah, and so should hopefully be a pretty good matchup. I mean, this is two teams. Blood Wolves Gaming itself is a pretty well-built chemistry and strategy, I'd say, based team, though I haven't seen a whole lot from them. I've seen their B team, though. They roughed up another Division 3 team. Now Division 3 team, they roughed them up in placements. They are also Division 2, I believe. So, you know, it's a bit of an interesting organization in total, you know. But at the end of the day, you gotta respect the players, all that stuff. And looking at Insanity, I mean, they're very much a chemistry-based team, chemistry and strategy. But then again, their strategy isn't super complex. So it's a lot about them just functioning as a well-oiled machine, and they were, at least in Season 1. But now they're facing a lot more difficult competition than they were before. I mean, from what I've heard, there's a pretty big MMR gap in terms of Division 3 and Division 2. There's a bunch of teams that are, you know, like Plat 3, Gold 1 average MMR, I think, in Division 3, and then there's like Plat 2, Plat 1 average in Division 2. So it's a pretty big gap. Anyways. Now, interesting setup here from Insanity. I mean, they do have this interesting choice. And a Twitch drone. Wow. Mayhem just let the Twitch drone. What are you doing, Mayhem? They could have brought him. They had him mute. They could have muted that off. They could have just shot the Twitch drone. They really should have seen that coming. I don't think there was a 6-pick actually from Bloodwolf's Paradox, and that'll allow them to now pressure that side without having to deal with the mirror. And the other big problem with this setup is that, you know, there's a giant hole in it, in the red stairs, and there's no way to close that off with a castle barricade or any sort of barricade. So you just have to watch out for that as Squigs will get the first kill in this game onto Deer 14 Magical. Does remove the Jaeger, actually, from play for the rest of this round, and that'll likely make it easier for them to now put more pressure on that bakery side. Does, however, have to deal not only with that wall there, but also two ADSs stacked on top of each other in 4v4. A bang knocks Sacred out for a evening, actually. The numbers 3v4, and there you go, Cactus Jack telling Mikey who sent him, and getting the man advantage for Insanity. It's now to just Squigs, Senpai, and Time. I'm not gonna even try and pronounce TXP repeatedly. Squigs trying to push forward here. He is the Capitao, so does have quite a bit of I'd say variety in what he can do. Has those two flames, which he can use against a lot of operators, a lot of opportunities, and then the two smokes are always helpful for smoke planting. Senpai in a 3v3 situation is going to put down all three Selmas on one wall, so we'll leave that completely open. Does certainly help them out, but I don't know if that's the strongest choice. Cactus Jack, as you saw earlier, did get leveled actually by Squigs, and he'll now be flaming actually Kochek. Double flame appears. Neither of them really doing much. All it does is really just sort of scare Mayhem into moving into a corner, and that will actually allow Time to take him down 2v2 though, as Rabang trades him away. And now it's up to just actually Rabang, as Scoville Sauce will fall, and the Senpai is now on site here trying to get the final kill, and he will. First round here goes the way of Bloodwolf's Paradox. 1-0 against Insanity.
Defenders, protect your bombs from being defused by attackers.
Ready.
10 seconds left.
My beautiful evil eye is ready.
5 seconds left before insertion.
My evil.
Attacker's objective is to locate a bomb and defuse it.
Alright, and now actually a top floor hold here by Insanity. Interesting, after that disappointing to say the least first round for them, very much riddled with errors, I'd say. And that was what really cost them. I mean, losing the Mira, you know, obviously not really keeping trades going, losing gunfights, obviously. And so that'll cost them that first round, and obviously they can recover here. They have the opportunity to just tie it up immediately 4v5 as Mikey will be the first one. So to die, he got TK'd by Sacred. So, did not even, I don't even know where he is, but that's gonna make it messy. I don't know if that was intentional or not. I really am not sure. Considering that's where he is. And it's right next to the Twitch. So I could be wrong, I could be right. I really don't know. But the Maestro there, so Cactus Jack, we heard that one. Don't know exactly where that Evil Eye is. We heard it somewhere around here. As Time will actually fall, not dead just yet, but is certainly down. And there you go, we're bang. Getting hungry for that kill. Satisfies himself off of picking down Time. And there you go, Senpai will actually trade it somewhat. This kill Mayhem. Scoville Sauce will be lowered there. Not out just yet, but is certainly lowered. It does bring it a step closer to a 3-3 even number situation here for Blood Wolf's Paradox. As you can see, Scoville Sauce holding an angle here as Tier 14 Magical's below sight. Smoke grenade going out there. It's really from Sacred. And Senpai actually going to be trying to open up that Mira window, which got smoked to prevent anybody from playing on it. But then again, the Maestro wasn't even really using it anyways. He's just sort of splitting that hallway, and will have to deal with losing part of that. Doesn't even matter, though. He still manages to gun down Squigs. It's up to just Sacred and Senpai outnumbered 2-1. The two players with smoke grenades might have been Mikey as well, but then again, he didn't really get the opportunity to do anything with them. Senpai will fall there. Densu Cactus Jack getting a double kill. 1v3, though. Sacred will get a pick there onto Scoville Sauce, which presumably he or the Nomad of Squigs lowered earlier. Sacred going to look to swing this doorway, and there you go, Cactus Jack on the floor with the Bailiff, actually, tying it up now 1-1. Anyways, on to the third round of action here between these two teams. As you can tell, a bit tied. Well, really tied. Obviously, early on in the game, so not a whole lot to say about it. I mean, two rounds that were rather bipolar. You had one round that was close for the attacking team, ended up being a 2v2, I think, 2v1, and then a very, very strong round for...
10 seconds to insertion.
Pardon me, actually, for Insanity. And to look at an interesting stat here, not strat. To speak of strategy would be to talk about this Mira window setup that they're going to be going for again. What didn't really work last time. I don't see how it'll work this time. But considering the Sacred is just auto-locking Twitch every single round. Why are they not bringing a Mozzie against that? That's what I don't understand. But anyways, let's speak of stats here. Almost every member of Blood Wolf's Paradox has at least one kill. Meanwhile, more than half of Insanity has yet to score a kill for themselves. As you can see, trying to push down from the top, actually, with Blood Wolf's Paradox. Namely, Mikey, as that Jackal, was left on the board, which allows him to do some strong roam clearing, really. I'll answer your questions in a second. But it's just looking to roam clear here, and I don't know how effective that's going to be, considering that all of Insanity is on site. Well, most of it is. Two players are playing directly above, but nobody on the top floor, so he's wasting quite a bit of time on droning that all out by himself. Does actually allow his teammates to move forward on their own. Namely that, actually, the Nomad there of Squigs, but still kind of wasting some time there. Sacred looking to open up one of the Mirror windows potentially to throw in a second shock drone. Don't know what happened to the first. Might have been taken down by the Mirror. Might have not. I don't know. Time will be down, not just yet, but is actually going to be in a DBNO state. Cannot withstand. Sadly for him, Squig will be picked off by Tier 14 Magical. I don't think he got it down a single air jab, so that's going to be a lot of active utility lost. And now Time will be finished off there by Tier 14 Magical for a double kill. It's now a 3v5. And now Sacred, as you can see, trying to push forward here with Mikey and Senpai, his two teammates, the ones remaining to help him against Insanity. And there you go, he gets the first kill there onto Cactus Jack. Does finally start moving the gears here. Now Mayhem trying to gun down actually Senpai over there in prep room. Misses, unfortunately for him. Deer 14 Magical might be eyeing the foot there of Senpai, I think, who's just right in the corner. Actually, that would be nobody. He's in prep. He's not on the objective. He's very close, though, in 2v4. 3k from Deer 14 Magical. It's up to just Sacred and Mikey. 2v3, though, as he'll actually trade out, or be traded out, pardon me, by Sacred. It's up to just Mikey and Sacred here. 30 seconds left. 2v3. Still down a man. Trying to push forward here. Not looking so hot for them. Gonna now move into Kochek. Mayhem formally holding that. Gonna have to push through not only Mayhem in Harry Potter, but also deal with the Malusi, the Banshee, the proximity alarm, just a lot of stuff. And Rabang was holding an angle there. Will get lowered, but also lowers Mikey. Sacred will be picked up there by Mayhem. It's up to just Mikey in a 1v3, trying to find something. Just shooting out some rounds, looking for anything, really. Unfortunately, Mayhem stops him from pushing further. Almost got the kill with the E12S. Which would have been a bit embarrassing for Mikey. And it's now 2-1. Mayhem with the lead here, going into the second half of the first half, or the second quarter of this game. And I thought you were done. No, I said that I think I said that I had a third one. Sorry to interrupt, but do you know when losing a Zof with both their impacts is rough? I mean, sure, but then again, did they have the Twitch they could have disabled? The Lucy's. They didn't really have anything else to burn. Could have been worse. Do you know when the next wave of D3 is going to start? Next week. Basically, I think schedules are released every Monday. I'm not really in charge of that, but I think that's when schedules are released. So you can expect it to come out on Monday or Sunday. And so that's when. That's the answer. And interesting enough, we are seeing a lot of mirror plays by Mayhem in particular of Insanity, so we do know mirror strats on this map. Not exactly the strongest band to do, but not exactly the strongest map for her. I mean, those setups do have a lot of weaknesses, to say the least, so, you know, all that Squigs and the rest of Paradox has to do is just make use of that. And they can get some pretty easy wins, considering that a lot of these mirror windows, if you collapse them, can do a lot of damage to the defending team, you know. And gonna look actually at the lineup here. Cactus Jack and Rabang, 2 of the 3 players of wearing the INS tag, actually bringing some interesting ops. You have Rabang bringing the Aruni, does have the 3 Surya gates, so can waste some utility, waste some time with those. But you don't normally see that. You know, it's an interesting sight. And then a Mute Chamber on top of a mirror window and a Goyo shield and an Aruni gate. Sort of utility heaven there for Cactus Jack, as he's the other interesting choice here. Bringing that Goyo shield will allow him to waste some time. Luckily also waste a bit of utility with the sort of volatile shields. You know, and ADS does well covering that, so really trying to keep that position held. Then again, it is vulnerable from below. At the same time, that is literally the objective. So I don't know how, especially Mayhem, considering that he's the one manning that mirror window below him. I don't know how they would give that up. And a bulletproof as well from Rabang, as he saw Mayhem flip through that, actually. So a lot of utility there, a bit of a nest egg. The only thing is that it's a bit bulky, I'd say, from the cocktail window as well as the cocktail balcony window. So all Squigs and the rest of Paradox has to do is just push themselves over to there. Smoke will go out there to cover the mirror window. Doesn't even matter. Cactus Jack's still going to try and make use of it. And will get shut down there by Sacred. It's now up to just Deer 14 Magical to hold down the above, but he has actually gotten a pick there. Trades away Sacred, which means that those mirror windows are relatively safe. You know, it's kind of harder. It's a lot harder to get them now, as Deer 14 will be looking to hold down vertical here, potentially playing for his life. I don't know exactly, but this is going to make it harder for him, considering the fact that, you know, it is 55 seconds left here for Paradox. And there you go, gets a killer onto the Zofia of Deer 14 Magical, looking for a second, no, third actually. Senpai gets a kill onto him, but Scoville will trade him away, and Squigs gets a kill of his own to trade. Scoville slots it's 2v2, but they have 40 seconds left. They have finally collapsed that vertical hold, but it took them most of the round. They are so low on time right now that they need to make an impact on the round. They need to make an execute quick. They do have the opportunity to drop into Laundry and get the drop on Mayhem. I don't know if they're going to opt for that, though. They will rotate around a pillar, so this is important times. Rounds going out there will alert Mayhem of the side they're pushing from. Namely, Mikey, though, is the more important one. He has the diffuser. Gets a pick onto Mayhem. It's up to just him on the defuse. Needs to get it down. Will start defusing on the table. Does stop himself. Does get back on it. And there you go. Squigs holding the angle. Stops Rabang from getting any denial. That is the round there. 2-2. These two teams have tied up again. Anyways. Okay. Gonna move on to the next round, and that was interesting to say the least for Insanity. I mean, they were in a 2v2. They just had to burn 40 seconds, but alas, when it came down to it, they couldn't win 1v1s, and they couldn't clutch up. Also couldn't trade, and that's gonna be really, really dangerous for them. Is if you cannot trade your teammates out, so that way you keep the numbers even, it just becomes really difficult for you. Especially in situations like that, where the numbers will really matter in those final seconds as well. It's just, there's nothing they could really do.
10 seconds remaining.
My beautiful evil eye is ready.
5 seconds left. Attackers are moving to defuse a bomb.
I'm reloading. Press fire going in.
Anyways, now it'll be another defense here, actually, of top floor from the defending team currently of Insanity. Who would have thought the defending team defends? Folks, I am going to start just giving you all sort of truisms here. Anyways, I'm gonna actually focus on the round itself. Pardon me, I'm a bit drained, had a long day. Anyways, nice. You can see Squigs and the rest of Paradox gonna try and push forward here. Looking for what appears to be a cigar take. Does have that Selma going out from Senpai to open that up for them. And now, as you can see, just gonna push forward here. Time now bringing in actually that Twitch, and that's very important. That and a vertical player such as Buck are what they really need, considering that every single round here, Mayhem especially has brought the Mira. Starts with the same letter as Maestro. Give me a bit of slack. Come on, guys. Smoke goes out there and would potentially allow them to actually set up an air jab to stop that rotate from going through. 5v4 as Senpai will take down Scoville Sauce. Lucky will lose some health, and 4v4 as Cactus Jack wipes away time. 3v4, just some poor spatial awareness from Mikey will actually cause him to lose his life. And the Gear 14 Magical Mayhem get a kill on his own. Onto Senpai. So just Squigs and Sacred. The two players would actually have BW in their name. Still, all 5 part of Blood Wolves Paradox, who are in a bit of a pickle now. I mean, they've had when they win in very close situations. If they lose really badly. Though 1v4 Cactus Jack gets a double kill to Squigs. Sacred trades him out, but Mayhem trades him, and that's the round for Insanity. And no matter what, there's no way that Insanity is going to escape this with an outcome that is not at least neutral, if not favorable to them. If they lose the next round, it's 3-3. If they win it, it's 4-2, and they have a 2-round advantage going against the attacking side. Which, speaking of, this is turning out to be a pretty defense-favored map. At least for Paradox. I mean, they've had a bit of a messy half, to say the least. They're losing really badly, and then when they win, it's really close. It's sort of a weird, bipolar-esque feature, I guess, you could argue. And so they'll be looking to keep it even here as they move on to their defensive half after this next round. So, obviously, not the end of the world if they lose this next one, but it will be difficult, considering that they will have given quite a bit of momentum to Insanity, and they will have to just sort of figure out what they need to
Protect your
do
bombs from being defused by
to fix
attackers.
everything up. And now,
Attackers have discovered
this
the
is a very
location
close
of a
match. It
bomb.
is. I don't think this is going to be like what we saw from actually Altered Reality and Utrecht Astros, which was a 7-3. We're going to see probably a 7-5, if not an overtime game, actually, between these two teams. And, I'll be right back, folks.
10 seconds to go.
Calibrating air compression. All set.
5 seconds to go.
Banshee ready to go.
Attackers are heading out to defuse a bomb.
Anyways, going on to this final round, there'll be another defense of first floor here by actually Insanity, and each time they've gone here, they've managed to win it. So, you know, this should go the way of Insanity. Obviously, never say never, but still, it's not looking so good statistically for Bloodwolves Paradox. Even in the very opening round, when they managed to take down this mirror window, open up this wall, and have decide actually that was the round that they won here. So they are hit or miss on this objective. I was about to say that I'm about to make an argument that even though they got that close, they didn't win, but they did. Ended up taking down Rabang as the castle, and that was how they won that round. But now gonna have to try and call back to that very first round for their potentially last round, or second to last, on attack here. 4v5 squads will be picked off by 014 Magical, who actually gets traded by Cactus Jack, by Mikey, and Cactus Jack will get a kill on a Sacred. So, losing the two players with BW in their name, it's now to just Mikey, Senpai, and Time versus Mayhem, Scoville, Rabang, and Cactus Jack. Man advantage favoring the attacking, not favoring actually, putting in a bit of a bind the attacking team. Senpai ever going to free themselves all up as Mayhem falls at his hands. Scoville Sauce going to be trying to hold down the objective here as Rabang and Cactus Jack both outside. Cactus Jack probably the farthest one out. He's playing over in Laundry, holding an angle. Scoville actually on site, and then Rabang is basically on site. You could argue that he's not, considering that he's still on technically the corridor, but still. He's basically on site. Cactus Jack will be making his return, actually. Don't know if you want to consider him successful or unsuccessful on that roam. Likely, I'd say ineffective. Didn't really waste any time, didn't really get any kills on that roam. Senpai pushing into prep here as that mirror window actually be collapsed, and that's a big, actually, event. Losing that mirror window is going to make it harder in the late round for the defending team of Insanity to make any changes. 3v2, Mikey gets a double kill on a Scoville Sauce, which will actually clear up the site, basically. 3v1, 3k from Mikey. So to just Cactus Jack as Senpai looks for a plant here. Cactus Jack running down Coat, spotting Mikey, shuts him down, trying to get another kill. Potentially it's a 2v1 though. Both Time and Senpai are banged up. Now Cactus Jack is losing some health there to Time, who's just trying to hold down the diffuser for as long as he can. Only has to waste about 27 seconds, just less than that now. And we'll actually run into Time, but 3k from Cactus Jack. It's up to just Senpai versus Cactus Jack in a 1v1 situation. Low time for the two of them. And now needs to get on the diffuser quickly. I don't know if he has a drone in it or not. Seems like he does, considering that he's now pushing forward. Hearing that counter diffuse go out, Cactus Jack will hop off of it, looking for the kill, but Senpai shuts off the 4k attempt, if not the 3k attempt from Cactus Jack, and it'll be 3-3. Tied half. And Soldier, you were right, this is very close. Either of these teams being able to really edge out a sizable advantage against each other. Don't think either team has actually led by more than one. It's all been, 1-0, 1-1, 2-0, or 2-1, 2-2, 3-2, 3-3 now. But I'll have to see if anything budges, really. And I think the important thing that both of these teams need to consider is to play for trades. Play that smarter as well. Play that vertical. They could have, I think that the defending team could have won that if they had just, held down the corridor a bit more strongly, if they had actually had a purposeful roam, and if they had won 1v1s. Which, to talk on that subject, I mean, Paradox is in a really good spot right now, considering that they are now on defense. But still, that could go either way. That could go south. And the other thing that I wanted to say about them is that they're winning most of their gunfights against Insanity. It's just that they run low on time. And they don't exactly play the smartest on attack. They didn't seem 100% coordinated with each other, but they managed to make it work, really. So, you know... it'll be interesting to see how well they do on that sense. In that sense, and in that vein, I'm going to take a look at Insanity in terms of what they need to do now. I think for them, it's obviously win the gunfights and trade. I think that's what they really need to do. For Paradox, it's strategy, coordination. For Insanity, it's just trades and winning gunfights. It's interesting to see how one team needs more strategy and another team needs more gun skill, I'd say. But I'm going to take a peek at the scoreboard since I have the opportunity to. Senpai leading his team with 7 kills. Sacred not far behind with 5. Cactus Jack leading his own team. Insanity with 9 kills. Almost double digits. We'll have to see if he hits that in the next round. And Deer also not far behind, actually. Same as Sacred, behind by 2 with 7. So has the same amount as Senpai's, who's top fragging. As the second for Sanity, which is an interesting thing to note. And now, as you can see, Paradox is trying to hold down the objective here, doing something like what we saw actually from Insanity. It might be a carbon copy almost. The only difference really is the Maestro 5v4, though time gets the first go. The second half onto Dare 14 Magical. So losing him, who's been a pretty consistent force to be reckoned with for Insanity. Losing him without having really any impact on the round. Instead of lowering Squigs, didn't even get the kill 4v4. Cactus Jack actually sent some Mikey packing. And it's now even numbers here. Obviously, it was a man-down situation there for Insanity for just a bit, but he's managed to recover from that. Mayhem gonna take down Sacred, and that's a really big pick. Losing the smoke as well as the man advantage, with 3 smoke waves still on him. Full utility, 30 seconds, half a minute. Evaporates, or it really appears, I think, for Insanity. Just like that, 2v4. Squigs will fall as well for a 1v4. It's up to just Senpai. As Mayhem going to be able to pick up that kill. And he is on site, but he's going to face a lot of pressure here from Insanity, as they will now just take the objective completely. Bang, looking for that plant there. I don't think that Senpai's going to be able to stop it. He's just sort of in a corner now, and Mayhem shuts him down for the round, and it'll be 4-3 here. A round advantage coming off of some man advantages, plural, for Insanity. And now, this could finally be what moves Insanity out of the rock in the hard place for them. I mean, you know, they've been only down or leading by 1. But they finally have a chance to show themselves as capable of putting a match away here. Obviously, you know, they still have to win 3 rounds, so it's not exactly putting it away, but they could get themselves on that path to finally close out the match. You know, sort of, I'd say, return to Coda.
Attackers need to
I think
locate and
the correct musical term is decouple of fine, actually. Pardon me for being quite tangential. I'm tired tonight, folks. But in that sense, you know, if y'all want to ask me any questions, anything like that, feel free. Ask ahead.
10 seconds remaining. 5 seconds remaining.
And to look at the strategy here from Bloodwell's Paradox, they are not bringing this mirror anymore. I think after that last round where it didn't really do anything, didn't harm them, but really was a bit of a wasted pick. Now going to bring a castle instead. I think the rest of their lineup is the same. Actually, they still had the castle last time around. I think what they changed is now time has changed from Jaeger to Vigil. Mikey is now that Vigil, is now the Jaeger, and I think that the Vigil is the new one instead of the mirror, actually. The rest seems the same, or about the same. Obviously that castle is going to make it a bit harder for them to push through stuff. They do have to, you know, use more than just some bullets to push through a barricade. But still, that's just going to delay them by a few seconds. And obviously you just saw, I mean, the castle barricade on the window didn't really cut off any sightlines. And was taken out in a matter of seconds, actually by Cactus Jack. So, kind of a silly play there by Paradox. And time will actually fall by Mayhem's work. So losing their roamer there that early on without really having any damage dealt to Insanity is not the way that they want to be rolling here. Scoville trying to push through red stairs, and we'll have to deal, however, with Sacred, who's just playing Cigar Shot with that normal shield that somewhat normal shield that we've seen before. 3v5, Cactus Jack frags out Senpai, and now could very well have that position collapsed. The smoke there of Sacred, as you saw, to be more specific, will fall back. Just use one smoke wave, but it is now a bit more of a comfortable spot, a bit more safer position, considering that he's near the rotate. He's also behind some sort of hard cover. Just has to deal with that ace there. That sledge, pardon me, of Cactus Jack, though. The ace of Rabang himself is trying to push forward into White Hallway here. He's going to drone that out, actually. Might have a Mute Emerald, but it's still looking at it, actually. And Cactus Jack trying to do some window play there. There's no avail, but doesn't matter. Mayhem gets a kill of his own onto Sacred, and EW Squiz gets a trade there for 2v4, though. This is not looking good here for Bloodwolf's Paradox. And now Mikey trying to hold off an angle here. Squigs as well. Seems a bit motionless, really. A bit lost, I'd say. And now Mikey just doing what he can, really, to hold down the objective. Doesn't matter, though, as Cactus Jack shuts him down. It's just Squigs here. And a 1 versus almost all of Insanity situation because of a kick down to Cactus Jack. Off of that very tight angle. Nice to see a headshot go out there. Somewhat satisfying, I'd say, but the smokes have gone out. The plant has gone down for Insanity. 3k from Squigs onto Tier 14 Magical. If he manages to get these next 2 kills and get the defuse down, it would be a clutch ace from him. Nitro going out. Doesn't really do anything, though. Scoville and Rabang, the last 2 left for Insanity. Just holding angles here. Squigs might be looking to maneuver himself around. Doesn't really realize, though, the Scoville is holding New Hatch. Rabang over in Cigar, actually. Just waiting. Sort of a hiding, I'd say, in the tall grass for someone to appear, and actually realizing it, trying to get the kill, will lower him, does not get the kill just yet, and there you go, 4k from Squigs, but too little now, and as a result, it'll go the way of Insanity. 5-3, they have finally managed to break away against Bloodwolf's Paradox, and I have to ask, what is Bloodwolf's Paradox doing? They're going to the same site 3 times in a row, and they've so far lost on 2 out of the 3. So it's just, what are you doing? This is the definition of Insanity. This is their enemies. The castle hurts them too much. The castle, I don't think the castle is hurting them so much as it isn't helping them. It's not wasting a lot of utility, and it's not cutting off sightlines that they need to keep covered. You know, like how you would see with an extension. How Insanity was using it on that hallway to help cover the mirror window. That's what you would that's what you should normally do, because, you know, there's a way for roamers to move around it, and it cuts off sightlines, and it wastes utility and or time. That's what castles should be doing. But, you know, as you run out of shadows, it's not so much that it's hurting them, but it's more just that they're bringing the castle, and castle isn't doing anything. It's not cutting off the angles that they need to cut off. It's really unnecessary. I mean, the epitome of that was that castle barricade on cocktail window, which we saw Cactus Jack just see that and go, okay, bye-bye, and vaporize it, essentially, with the hammer. In a matter of moments, you know, 1/3 of his primary utility was gone. Just like that. It was ridiculous. Improper usage. And now, interestingly enough, we are seeing the same, a bit of a variation, almost the same strategy here from Bloodwolf's Paradox. In terms of the Mira, they've decided to cancel off small bakery. As you can see with that rotate there, this is what we normally see. Reinforcement to help somebody play in bakery, but they don't have anybody playing in bakery. They don't have a shield, they don't have an ADS covering it. They do, actually. They have an ADS covering the mirror and prep wall. They have a mirror window, actually, as well as a rotate covering the bakery side. And interesting enough, I think that might come back to bite them, considering that that is a soft wall with a doorway into it, basically, to allow Insanity to push through if they do get access to that. As Insanity is now looking to take what appears to be the freezer side. I mean, they have more than half of their team on that area, I'd say. And the other two members are actually going to be looking to roam clear here. We'll have to deal with the roamer there of time once again. And he'll lose some health once more, trying to play pillar, but quite exposed that area is, so... And pardon my Yoda speak, but do or do not, there is no try. Needs really to do some sort of damage here against Insanity, as they're not just eyeing the objective, really. They do have that freezer wall open. He's eyeing the flank, potentially. I don't know if he's going to get it. He rotated over to the brown stairs. Does spot Cactus Jack, takes him down for 4v4, as Cactus Jack himself getting a kill on a Mikey, so did trade him in a matter of moments, you know, just split second, really. So very close. Nitro went out there, actually, from Squigs, but to no avail. Unfortunately, just trying to hold an angle here onto something, but gets shut off by Mayhem for a 3v4. It's up to just Sacred, Senpai in time. Man advantage favoring the attacking team right now, with potentially match point on the line here for Insanity. Time gonna look to do a flank down White Stairs. I don't know if they've really realized it. Now, will get shut off there. Mayhem getting the double kill. Just a monster on support for his team. Scoville was lower there, it appeared, but didn't really matter because didn't get the kill. Senpai down and out thanks to Scoville. So it's up to just Sacred. 1 versus 4 here. Almost the entirety of Insanity surrounding him. He does get a kill on a Scoville sauce, but ultimately it is futile as Rabang gets the kill and the round for his team. 6-3. And now it is match point here for Insanity. They have finally found their rhythm. They have finally gotten into the groove of it, and that's what they needed to do if they wanted to win this. And they are eyeing it right now. I mean, consider this. If Paradox wants to go to overtime, even then there's no guarantees. If they want to go to overtime, they need to win 3 rounds in a row, which means winning kitchen, winning top floor, which has been a mess for them, and winning first floor, or second floor technically, if you wanted to call it that way, which is probably reading in Fireplace, which is going to be really painful for them, considering that it's an extension to top floor, and it's the tertiary side of many teams, so it's usually what teams feel the least comfortable on. That's going to be painful for them. It'll be a pretty tall task. Obviously, it could be worse, but considering that they have to do a site sweep, and they have no room for error, really, and considering how much error has been made from them, to say the least, they are in a very precarious position right now. This went one-sided very fast. I disagree. Basically what happened is that we switched sides and Insanity just somehow turned into God. Basically. They just immediately ran with a 3-round rally. And we'll have to see if that can improve to a 4-round rally and close out the game here. They are at match point. They have this opportunity, a 6-4 opportunity, a 6-5 opportunity. They have 3 shots to close out the game before they have to go into overtime and win a couple more rounds, essentially. Now, looking at the setup here, still has the castle, and no longer has the mirror, so as Shadow said, they need to sub the mirror and change to a different op. They did. They switched him out for, I think the mute now is in place of that mirror. Might have been a different player playing the mirror, but still just not great here. And so I think another thing to bring up here is that while this Paradox is now in Insanity situation, they are winning some gunfights, but they're not trading each other at all. And poor Time, he's roaming here. I'm not going to say anything about his scoreboard, but he should not be. I'm going to be honest with him. and he's not wasting a lot of time. He's not getting kills. That's the really important thing, is that he might be playing in areas to deny map control, but he's not really forcing the attack to clear him, and he's not getting kills in that situation.
Attackers dropped the diffuser.
Well, most of the time, he's just a free pick for the attacking team. And speaking of picks, Senpai taken down, potentially for the last time this game, actually, by Insanity. I think it was Scoville who was the one to get the kill. Might have been wrong on that, but they're now looking to lock off those stairways. Actually, from Time, who's eyeing a flank here. Potentially, he's all the way on the top floor. Just take down a drone, but nobody's pushing him. I'd say, for the most part, Insanity's just completely ignoring him. 4v4, 3v4, actually. 2v4, double kill from Rabang onto Sacred, pardon me. Similar, but not the same exactly. Mayhem has now taken Red Hall here, and it's up to just Squigs and Mikey, as Time and Sacred will both fall at the end of that sort of chaotic moment. Scoville Sauce was the one to fall for the side of Insanity, but they have a strong position to work from here. They have about 30 seconds left in the round, so they are low on time. In a 2v3, potentially, as Rabang is down. Not out just yet, but is certainly down. And there you go, confirmed. Could be a 2v2, depending on how this goes. 25 seconds left, and the diffuser is down and prep in the firm hands there of Mikey Lowell, so it could really go the way of Bloodwolf's Paradox. It's just going to depend on how, namely Deer and Cactus Jack, play the remainder of this round. Low time, Selma's going out there from Rabang. I guess they removed the mute jammer, is my guess. And now 2v2, Mikey gets a pick on a Deer 14 Magical. Low time, trying to do something, but being crossfired here, and Squigs appears to be a 3k on the round onto Rabang, Cactus Jack, and likely one other. 6-4. They now have to go to either bar or first or second floor and win there. They have a difficult option. They have a difficult job now. I mean, they finally managed to win it. It took them, what, let me think, 2 tries, so a 50% success rate. But now they're going over to Bar and Cocktail, which they have a 0% success rate on. Every single time they've gone here, they've lost. It is kind of embarrassing. I'd say it's certainly sad. I'm sorry to be a bit insulting to Paradox, but they need to switch this to their secondary site and make Kitchen their primary, because that actually went well enough. It was a bit lucky, I'd say, but still, I don't think that this is Bloodwolf's Paradox's strong map. It certainly doesn't seem to be Insanity's. Well, it might be, in all honesty.
Attackers need to
I don't know exactly.
bombs as they can.
I don't look a lot into Insanity, so I can't say, but it certainly seems to be one of their stronger maps, especially considering that they had a 3-round rally on the attack on Cafe, and usually attack's kind of difficult. I don't think many of these teams recognize pushes, so they don't move utilities to the correct side to counteract the enemy team, resulting in low defense on certain sides. I mean, here's the problem, is that when you're making a strategy, you need to pick a side of the site to hold down heavily. Like, for example, with Bar and Cocktail, you need to pick either to hold down this cocktail side heavily, or to hold down the cigar side heavily, because if you try and do both, what happens is that you stretch your resources really thin, and then it becomes really easy for the attack to pick apart your defense. But yeah, I would agree that there needs to be some sort of switch call from the IGL of Bloodwolf's Paradox to let the rest of their team know to rotate not only position but also utility. Like you said, Time gonna pick off Rabang, so he will finally get a man advantage for his team on the roam all the way on the first floor. What is Rabang doing down there? I have no idea. 3v5 though. Squigs gets a kill of his own onto your 14 Magical. Now it's up to just Mayhem, Scoville Sauce, and Cactus Jack. The diffuser is down as well, and Frag Grenade will actually be not only one wide, but also it appears to be ADS, actually. It's interesting. That's certainly overkill, but definitely kept them safe. And as you can tell, trying to make a push here, but they are outnumbered here, so it's not looking so great for them. Could make a recovery, but it'll be a tall task, at least within the context of this round. They do have next round, though, which is likely going to be certainly going to be second floor defense. Might be a second floor defense of Fireplace in reading. Might be second floor defense, pardon me, of Fireplace and Mining. It'll really depend. Cactus Jack trying to play off the window using a drone there, but it got shot, unfortunately. And so now Mayhem just holding an angle here on a pillar, trying to wait out time. He was just sitting over in pillar and realizing that now actually the Twitch of Mayhem is rotated away, holding an angle there to what appears to be New Hatch. Somebody's already dropped down though and rotates away exactly as he might look for a kill. Misses the head there of Mayhem and has to pay for it 4v3. So close yet so far. And that'll bring it a bit closer here to tied numbers 4. Bloodwolf Paradox, Global Sauce trying to push off of New Hatch. Just have to deal, however, with Squigs. I believe that might have actually been set. Mikey who's holding down Cocktail here. And now Sacred, as well as you can see, just throwing out a smoke wave actually. However, has not really gotten much damage. Actually, they are wasting the time here for Insanity, who seem a bit disoriented. Obviously, they are down a man. They need to make some sort of breakthrough soon. They don't have a lot of time to do that. Scovelsauce on site, losing some health there due to them. Lucy and Franson some guns trained on him. Cactus Jack getting killed onto Senpai at the same time that Squigs will make Scovelauce fall. To just actually Cactus Jack as Mayhem, picked out there by Sacred. He's down to probably 10 health here, trying to get a kill. Gets one onto Mikey. It's a 2v1 though. Sacred still has 2 smoke waves left. Doesn't even matter. Doesn't need to use either. He'll wipe away Cactus Jack, and we're looking at a potential overtime here. Jaeger could have moved his ADS into Sight of System during those last 30 seconds. I mean, the thing is that you gotta know, first of all, which side they're pushing from. So you have to realize which side they're pushing from. IG has to call switch, and then you have to pick up your utility, and you know you have to be safe enough to do that to begin with, and move it to a spot where it's more influential. So it's really sort of case by case, but definitely should have done that. Adrenaline mostly. The way I see it is that if teams start to do it and dominate, then other teams would follow. But since no one does it, the comeback potentially. I mean, they could. This is the watershed moment here. This is when they put the pressure on them. And hi Sensei, it is good to see you, mi amigo. But I mean, 3-round rally from Insanity, and immediately at least 2, if not a 3-round rally in return from Bloodwolf's Paradox. And now, as you can see, there's a potential to, to actually clutch up here for Bloodwolf's Paradox to bring themselves to overtime. Obviously, no guarantees from them, but it is very well a possibility. And at this point, it is win or go home for them. If they win this next round, they get to go to overtime. They get to fight a bit more. They have 3 more rounds at most, if not 2. To finish this game off. If they lose, then they go home. They lose, obviously. They would not be the strongest game from them, but they would have gotten close. It would have been 7-5. It could have been better, could have been worse for them. Let's get this comeback. And I gotta say that watching Bloodwolf's Paradox come back is actually kind of impressive to see. I mean, I guess the moral of the story right now is that when Bloodwolves is put in a corner, they can fight themselves out of that corner. Namely Bloodwolves Paradox, and this is a reading and fireplace hold actually by the defending team of Bloodwolves Paradox. Does appear to be holding actually a vertical, but interesting enough, this backstore wall is actually left soft. Usually that's reinforced, but I suppose didn't want to, didn't have the opportunity to. Didn't have the time to, but they have the utility. As you see in the top left, that's supposed to be reinforcements, but it got cut off for some reason. I'm going to try and fix that soon. But, I mean, they have 3 left. They could put those down. They would put down 2, and then they would still have 1 left. It's not a matter of materials. It's a matter of just choice, I guess. I don't know why they would want to keep that closed, really. It seems a bit of a head scratcher. And now, as you can see, Mayhem trying to push forward onto that cocktail balcony. Actually spotting the Jaeger there of Mikey. Mikey spots him first and lowers him just about 70 health, probably a bit more, maybe a bit less, as Mikey will rotate around to backstore now, trying to figure out a way to attack this Insanity push, which is all concentrated on its east cocktail side. Usually that's how it goes, is to take that cocktail side and then play vertical from there. 4v5 though, as Sacred will be picked off by Rabang, and a man advantage would go the way of Insanity. Time gonna now need to slide over to actually Pillar to try and deal with Insanity's very strong sort of one-sided push from them, and now Rabang getting that smoke down and rushes in to look for a plant potentially, and the Jaeger there of Mikey getting just lit up like a Christmas tree by Cactus Jack, as he tried to jump out but got air jabbed and made short work of by Insanity. You know, multiple players on one person. Smoke goes out there as Fear 14 Magical falls to the hands of Senpai. As Time also getting a kill down to Cactus Jack. 3v3, however, the diffuser is down. Rabang still has three Selmas left. I don't know what he's doing with them. Will be lowered there by, I think, Mayhem, actually. It might have been friendly fire. Scoville trying to do something, really. 2v3, though. Rabang getting a kill there onto Squigs for a double on the round. So just Senpai to do a counter defuse. Time draining, actually. And there you go. Protects his teammate long enough to get the counter defuse down. A measure of trust there for Bloodwolf's Paradox. You know, to quote Rook, I trust that my teammates... I don't even remember the rest of the quote, I'm just gonna say that. But... Bloodwolf's Paradox with a comeback there. Countering a 3-round rally from Insanity to pick up 3 rounds of their own, and they'll now be on the attack. This is where they seemed rather hit or miss. Not to say that the defensive side wasn't hit or miss. This is very much an even matchup here between these two teams. You know, we are going to overtime. It is close here for both involved. Anyways, gonna take another look at the scoreboard now. Since we've ended what would be considered regulation, we're now into overtime. Squigs, top fragging, 12 and 7. Good job to him on support as well. So, you know, extra claps to him. Sacred, second, 9 kills. So, not far behind, but you know, could potentially break into double digits with this next round. We'll have to see. Senpai behind both of them with 8. On the side of Insanity, Cactus Jack. Oh my lord, as support as well. This really has been an evening of support's top fragging. 17 kills. He's the only reason that they are in this position. And then I am quite a bit behind him. 11 kills. But still, 2 players in double digits. Between the two of them, 28 kills. Between the rest of their team, 19. 8, 8, 3. 16 plus 3 is 19. It's just... They have done a lot of work, the two of them, to keep their team in this game. This is like the first game that hasn't been a 7-something game. I've seen overtime games before. I've seen plenty of them. But for Insanity, I think it is. Now, as you can see, trying to push forward here from the side of Red Stairs as there you go, Deer 14 Magical fought into Send by Mikey, also dead. So it is a 4v4 situation here. As you can see, the Ash of Time trying to take down Rabang is on this short roam here. Does rotate around, could potentially rotate back to side, but will actually push down the stairway. Squigs will be lowered there, presumably trying to push onto that cigar side, but taking some damage. Most likely from Scoville. 3v4 though, Smoke going out there as Rabang pick off Time. Selma going down now on that mirror window, it appears. Does actually hit the mirror window and will be able to break it, as well as the area around it appears. And there you go, does collapse that mirror window at last. But did take them quite a bit of time and still have yet to actually push down Whitehall. This will make it, however, a lot more difficult for Bloodwolf's Paradox, not Bloodwolf's Paradox, Insanity to hold down this side of the objective. I mean, look at this. Sake, we're going to lose him out there to Rabang, who's just holding down the stairway there, but look at this. I mean, losing that has made it very dangerous now. When in combination with the sightline here, it's made it very dangerous for any member, really, of Insanity. 2v4, the Cactus Jack gets a pick onto Senpai. Now it's just Squigs and Sacred, but as I was saying, losing that mirror window in conjunction with this right here makes it difficult for them to rotate to bar without going under Skylight. You know, puts them in a bit of a dangerous spot. Scoville Sauce will pick off Sacred. It's to just Squigs here. Almost the entirety of Insanity eyeing this kill, and there you go, Scoville Sauce getting the double kill, at least on the round. Closes it out, and puts it into overtime match point here. They could close it up now. They just need to win an attacking round, and we saw them have a 3-round rally to open up their attacking half. But then again, you know, Paradox actually responded to that with their own 3-round rally, so it could really go to essentially sudden death. It's going to really depend. Adios, amigos. See you later. Wale, amigos. To use some Latin. It's been a long day. It's been a damn long day. Anyways. And now, Insanity once again have the opportunity to put it away, but they only have, they have 2 shots now. Instead of 3, they have 2. So it does have a tiny bit less leeway, but you know, they still have the opportunity. And to speak on this penultimate, potentially, possibly ultimate round, you know, they just have to win on bar, and this was I think that was their stronger site. I think they didn't lose on this objective. They might have lost once, but for the most part they won on this site. So that's going to make it harder here for the defending team of Bloodholes Paradox. And speaking of, I hope you all just saw that. Sacred just seriously nitroed in a rotate on the wrong side as well. The impact there from Senpai doesn't fix it up, but still, I mean, that is so mind-numbingly... what a mistake there from Sacred. Mikey falling there, presumably off of an attempted spawn peek. So does have to pay the price there, and that's going to give away the man advantage here to Insanity, and I think that might be the beginning of the end for Bloodholes Paradox. I mean, generally you shouldn't spawn peek. It makes it... It's essentially a coin toss, because it's either you die or the enemy team dies. Most of the time. There's the occasional case where, you know, neither team gets hurt, but still that's unlikely. So it's a coin flip for a 5v4 for the entire round. And especially in a situation where this round could essentially end the game, that's not the way you want to roll. But, you know, hopefully as long as Less Than Squig's going to get a kill in a Mayhem to actually keep it even, 4v4. And there goes that man advantage that I was talking about. Collapsed it just like that. A matter of seconds between when that gunfight started and when it ended. As you can see, Deer 14 Magical looking to potentially push up White. He does have the ability to. Nobody's going to stop him, really. His only resistance would be from that Jaeger. The Legion of Senpai over in Washroom, which is turning an angle onto the Cigar side. He was trying to hold down that area. But nobody's playing over in Whitehall. Nobody's playing at the rotate. There's somebody in Backstar, but that would be Sacred, and he's on his drone. So, you know, he does get to... Just get to go wee and wheel around his little shock drone that he picked up with a pest. So I'm sure he's a bit proud of that. Now it will be hard picking actually the Nomad there, and it does cost him to lose his drone. Someone gonna go out here actually from the Ace of Rebang, looking to potentially open up a sideline here for them to get something. Now a run out actually from one of the defenders. I don't know who that was. If I had to take a gander, it would have likely been Squigs. Didn't get anything, didn't get punished for it. Scoville Sauce down and out thanks to Sacred. When he does finally put an impact on the round. Instead of just getting a twitch run and losing it, Rebang, however, trading him away for a 3v3 and a double kill in Rebang's name. As you can see, Time looking for a flank here, but it's really high risk, high reward. If he gets it, it's a man advantage for his team. 3v1 actually. Senpai picks off Deer 14 Magical. Squigs will get a kill onto Rebang. Run out actually from Squigs. Allows Cactus Jack an easy headshot. Low time though, 15 seconds. Doesn't have the diffuser. Now it's up to just him versus Time and Senpai. Gonna need to push forward now. Finds Senpai. Takes him down for a 1v1. 5 seconds left. All Time has to do is just hide. And he is. Time playing behind some soft cover. If only the Sledge had realized that he was playing that soft cover there. But 20 bomb from Cactus Jack. And more than half of the lobby now, as we reach sudden death, has dropped double digits. Look at this. Squigs, 14 and 9 on support. Senpai, 10 and 11 on hard support. Sacred, 10 and 13. It's Cactus Jack, 2.0 KD, going 20 and 10. Astonishing statistics for him. Rabang and Mayhem each going 11 and 8. The only difference is 11-3 and 8 versus 11-2 and 8, and obviously the points associated with it. But we are in the final round. This is your last shot. You only got one shot, one opportunity. And now, I'll have to see what these teams do with it, really. May the best man win. Absolutely. There's one round left here for both teams, and this is going to be interesting. I mean, this is a site which has been really hit or miss for Insanity. They've had some rounds where it was won by them, and in that vein, they've won it in really dominant fashion, and there have been rounds where they've lost it, and in those times, it's been usually a 2v2, 1v1, maybe a 2v1 against them, but they have yet to lose to this on this site by a large margin, you know? So, it'll be interesting. I think that in this final round, Squigs and the rest of Paradox need to be smart, you know, coordinate the attack, and try and abuse certain weak points in the defense of Insanity, you know, cough, cough, red stairs, cough, cough. And then for Insanity, I think they need to just win some gunfights, try and whittle down the time of Bloodwolf's Paradox, and then obviously get trades when they can. And the Amaru actually of time will be actually played. So I'm astonished. I'm surprised that that actually made it through 5v4. Mikey puts Mayhem on the shelf for the rest of the game for the remaining 2 minutes and 20-ish seconds of it. As you can see, the Ash there actually of Mikey will take coach check 4v4, though Deer 14 Magical takes time to stop the Amaru from doing anything else. 3v3 Scoville gets a nitro kill onto Mikey as Squigs will get a pick onto Deer 14 Magical. For 3v3, Scoville, our bang is quite banged up, and Cactus Jack against Squigs, Sacred, and Senpai. Squig's gonna try and hold down their flank there, as you can see, setting up those air jabs so he doesn't have to worry about it. But Senpai on the other side of the first floor gonna try and now open up that wall, and nothing keeping it closed. Did they lose a mute jammer on it? Did they even use a mute jammer on it? That's a good question to ask. So you can see the other mirror window there into bar collapsed, and for what? I don't think that's gonna really harm Insanity, but it doesn't really help them either. And now Cactus Jack just holding down red stairs here, looking for a potential late flank. He could very well pull it off if actually Bloodwolf's Paradox gives him the opportunity to. And speaking of Bloodwolf's Paradox, they do take that whiskey side, actually. As you can see, Scoville sauce picked up by Bloodwolf Squigs for a double kill on this round for him. And now, looking to close out this game would be actually Bloodwolf's Paradox 2v2. Cactus Jack gets a kill on a Squigs. And now it is even numbers here. And as you may remember, in even numbers, it has really favored Bloodwolf's Paradox. But time is starting to run low. This sort of clash of low time versus even numbers, and low numbers at that. Now, as you can see, 2v1 Sacred picking off Rabang. He was low health anyways. Senpai looking for the plant here. Smoke cover as well as a gun train, actually. Cactus Jack looking for something above. Smoke's covering him as well as Sacred. The guns trained on that breach as Senpai will stick the plant there. Now Cactus Jack off-site. If he manages to clutch this up, he wins the game for his team. Gets 23 kills, potentially. If Bloodwolf's Paradox wins this, you know, it's 8-7. I think Sacred actually just set up a Twitch drone right next to the diffuser to help him spot that, actually. Almost gets hit by an air jab. That would not have been good for him. Just rotate around, as you can see, trying to find something. Will be spotted by the Twitch drone of Sacred, who's just on a drone, hard pinging, providing that constant to Senpai, who will get swept away by Cactus Jack, but Sacred trades him out, and that's the game. 8-7. Bloodwolf's Paradox will best Insanity.
GG's.
GG.
GG's.
GG's.